In this video, I will describe about the variables and data types in Python. So variables is basically a name given to a memory location in the program. Let's say a is equals to 60. So here a is basically the variable and we store the 60 value to this variable. So let's take another variable b is equals to 20, and if we add a and b, we will get 80. So let's see that. Print a plus b, and if you run this program we will see that 80. So here what happened, that now a is a variable and b is another variable, and in this a variable there 60 value is stored, and in this b variable 20 value is stored. And let's comment out this. So here in this example we take value, and this value is stored in variable, and we can also store string in the variable. So string is basically data type in Python. It is a sequence of characters that enclosed in code. Suppose this is a round number. If we enclose this number into variable, enclose this number into double quote, this number will also a string. And let's say I am a boy, and if we put this text into double quote, this will also a string. So here let's take a variable, let's say age is equals to my, or let's say I am 10 years old. So here this I am 10 years old, this is a string, and this string is stored in age. And let's take another variable, age1 is equals to I am not 10 years old. So here this is also a string, this string is stored in variable age1. And if we want to add this, or if you want to just print the age, or if you want to just print the I am 10 years old, just what we have to do, we have to just print, and in the bracket we just have to write the variable name. And if you print this, or if you run this code, we will see I am 10 years old. So this, because I am 10 years old, this string is now stored in age. This is basically a variable. I think you guys understand that clearly. And now let's see about variables. Sorry, now let's see about data types. So primarily these are uh, there are basically different types of variables, like integer, then floating point numbers, then boolean. So now let's see each of the data types. Let's comment out this. Integer value is basically a whole number. Let's take a variable number is equals to 23. So here 23 is a whole number, so 23 is a integer. What is the data type of the variable? We can use the type function. So let's see that. Let's say print type number, and if you run this code we will see integer, and here int, this int means integer. So now we see that that this number is, or this variable number is basically integer type. Why this is an integer type? Because here the number is basically a whole number. And let's change this value, or let's take some uh, point, let's say 23.67. So if we run this program we will see that floating value. So when we see this type of number 23.67 or some pointed value, these types of this is basically floating type data. And let's say boolean. So boolean is basically true and false, and let's say true. So now this number variable contain true, and if you run this program, we will see bool. Bool means boolean. So these are the data types. And if we say integer, let's say we take an integer. Integer is, sorry, string. Let's take string. String is also a data type. So to make a string, what we have to do, we have to enclose the value or enclose the text with the code. So let's quote and just take a number 34. Now this 34, if this 34 is alone or does not enclosed by quotes, then it will be integer type data. But here this number is quoted by double quotes or enclosed by quotes, then so this will be string. So here we see that this is a string because it is enclosed by quotes. Let's see another function which is called input function. This is a common and important function in Python. This function is basically allows the user to take input from the keyboard as a string or as a number. Now let's see the use of input function. Let's take a variable called x is equals to, then now we will use input function, input bracket. In this input function we can we basically here use string. We very, this is very less that we use here uh, uh, number of string, but we basically here use string. So let's take a string that enter your, sorry I didn't use the code, enter your name. Okay, now if we run this code, we can see that here I can write something that ask me to enter my name. So let's say that my name is John. So here this is basically this line or this input function basically take input from us or from the user. Now let's say that print my name is, here you will notice that I use a string first in the print function, and then I separate the variable. Here variable is x, capital X, so I separate this variable by using comma. So you can use that. This is, you should remember. And if I run this code, and I can see that the terminal wants me to enter my name, so let's enter my name. Then here in the print function, for this print function, this result is come that my name is John.